Welcome to Subramani. One question which many of us grapple, I've seen Mr. Vijay Kedia's video on this when people ask that Subra, I have good experience now in the markets. Last 3 years I have been in the markets. I have done very well. I'm thinking of quitting my job and doing full-time trading. Good, bad, ugly, I don't know. I mean, this is not just among people who don't have the qualifications or people who don't know what to do in life. This is among qualified doctors. This is with one the people who have asked me include one practicing chartered accountant about 50 years of age, one chemical businessman. They have a family chemical business. Then people with very good qualification, people without good qualification, and various communities, not just Gujaratis asking or I mean communities which don't normally invest. If a Maharashtrian is asking these questions, it's a big leap of faith for him. I have not heard any woman asking me this. She has not said that मैं नौकरी छोड़ के trading करने वाली हूँ. But I see ads. There are so many institutes because these institutes make money teaching and not money trading, right? So if I'm a good trader, if I'm a good chartist, I make more money from my newsletter and from my training classes than from the market. I don't like this concept of making money by teaching, training, making videos. That's great. That's fantastic. But this is not experience, right? So what makes a 55-year-old dentist better than a 25-year-old dentist? Same dentist is 30 years of experience and dealing with people, right? Both these are skills. Many raised to 100 doctors think being a good doctor means great academic excellence. They completely ignore the fact that there is a huge human communication skill which many doctors lack. And they can't understand why some other doctors are more successful than them. Sorry, I'm digressing, but coming back to the topic. If you ask a 26-year-old gynecologist, 26-year-old ophthalmologist, 26-year-old anesthetist, they will all be able to come out with very reasonable answers to what to do for a stomachache. But when you ask a 56-year-old anesthetist, gynecologist and an ophthalmologist about stomachache, they'll say, I have no clue, right? Because 30 years or 32 years or whatever of years of training and further education, etc., has taken them on different paths, right? So they're completely different paths. They have all done MBBS. It does not mean they're all now the same. They're specialized. So surgeon trains differently than a physician. Both have their roles. It's not to say surgeon is superior or physician is superior. Both have their roles. Both are trained very differently. So if you ask a 60-year-old physician to do a surgery, he will not be able to do it because he's not been trained for the last 30-40 years. He's also done it while doing MBBS, but then it requires a different kind of a training. Now to think that do you see somebody say, I have had a lot of teeth problem, so I went to a dentist. I know what exactly a dentist does. So at the age of 60, I'm going to retire, or at the age of 58, I'm going to retire and I'm going to practice as a dentist. That doesn't happen. You have to get educated as a dentist. You have to practice with somebody else. You have to establish, like they say, you have to get the firmness of the grip. Your hands have to be good, hands have to be soft. You have to have the skills. It takes time. So maybe you're 35, 32, 33, 35 when you practice charts. I mean, charts are well, right? So and then you become a good dentist, a better dentist, a best dentist, and in the meanwhile you have also learnt skills of attracting patients. You do maybe some sessions in school, college, whatever, and slowly you build up your practice. So you need all those skills, right? You need skills of being a good student. Therefore you got admission, you passed the exam. After passing the exam, you started your practice, you worked with somebody, you started your practice, you trained, and now at 55 you got a good track record of being a good dentist. Would you want to give up your dental practice even at the age of 40 or 45 and say, I will be a full-time trader? It's not going to happen. I know, I mean, if you're whatever is your job or profession, continue to do that. I know doctors who have changed the timing of their practice so that they can find enough time in the market. So they start early and they take a lunch break at say 12:30, and the lunch break goes on till 3:30. So 12:30 to 3:30 they're sitting and playing the market. They're not relaxing, they're not reading, they're not doing anything equivalent, and they say practice utna nahi chalta hai. So I'm now going to do this work. I mean, chartered accountant saying, oh, I've learned it. So it's a little risky because no, I have completely covered the risk. I know how to do F&O. I know how to do it. And some 20% of my money I've already put in crypto. So that when this market falls, that market will not fall. True, really? See what has happened in US, completely wiped out. If an exchange gets wiped out, what do? Everything is lost. You lost your password, you lose your crypto, right? Life is not so simple. What happens if you start doing this as a full-time profession and you fall ill, completely ill, and you are unable to do it, or your ophthalmologist says no screen time, you can't do more than 10 minutes of screen time, and after 10 minutes you have to take a break. Would you need to watch the market? Do you know how to do it? Well, I don't know whether you know how to do it. It's not something so simple. I'm not a full-time trader. I'm not even a full-time investor. I have to have other things to do. And even if assuming that you're going to trade 9:30 to 3:30, what are you going to do with your time from in the morning and after 3:30, right? You will go to forums, you will sit there, you will get influenced. So will you be able to be steadfast? Will you say this morning this is what I'm going to do, or will you go to some chat room and find completely contrary news to that, or completely contrary views to that, right? So will you be able to stand there? What will you be able to stand a longish recession? Now there are people who believe, oh, I have seen the market since 2003. Recessions are very quick. Depressions are very quick. Really? How many times have you seen countries going bankrupt? Right? You see El Salvador, what is happening? You saw what is happening in Sri Lanka. Do you realize what is happening in Pakistan? Countries going bankrupt, right? So amidst all this, are you sure there will be no bankruptcies within the country? Do you think companies will not go bankrupt? Do you think individuals will not go bankrupt? Do you think that people who have put so much money in crypto will be able to come out of it unscathed? There are 10 crore Indians who invest or play around with crypto. Do you think they're all going to come out unscathed? Do you think the government will stop raiding these people, finding equivalents? I know people who have earned 15,000 in one crypto fees for a young boy who did some work for somebody who paid him in crypto. I don't know whether he has kept the crypto, whether he has not kept the crypto. I do not know what is the taxation. Now, amidst all this in uncertainty, if there is a longish bear market, or if interest rates are increased little too high, if let's say the gilt goes to 8.5–9%, how will the market react? If there are not enough trading opportunities, what happens if the trade switches? You went short, you brought the share came to a particular price and you made a lot of money shorting. At that price, again you shorted, and then the market went up like this, or that particular share went up like this. What happens then? You get wiped out, right? And you had a leverage position because you were sure that you have mastered the art of F&O, right? It's not going to be so simple. There are a lot of things. How will your family support? Is your wife happy with your decision? Is your mother happy with this decision? Have you put the children's exam fees at stake? Okay, as time goes by, will you keep reducing risk by investing in gilt? Then will the amount of money that you have in equities, will that be adequate? Will that dividend be adequate? You have to think through this whole process, right? Will brokerage rates change? What happens if your broker goes fat and he defaults on you and he does not give you some 2 crores worth of shares? Your total capital was 3 crores. What happens? Do these things happen? Of course these things happen, right? We all saw some 39–40 brokerages have gone fat. Many people have recovered a part of their money. Some of the money is lost. What happens if your broker defaults and there is no money recovered at all from him? Then you are completely wiped out. Are you ready for these kind of catastrophic events which can happen and do happen in the market? Right? Will your family support you? Will your family stand by you even during tough times? Will they say, okay, don't worry, it's perfectly all right? Will you be able to get back to your job? I keep saying the road from Ratnakar to Valmiki is a one-way street. Valmiki couldn't have said, ye Ramayana bore ho gaya, main wapas Jaku ban raha hu. Not possible. It's a one-way street. You have come back on that road and then you can't go back, right? So understanding all this and then being able to implement is very different from just jumping into it and shutting down what you're currently doing. Maybe you're practicing as a chartered accountant, as a dentist, or some other doctor, right? Or you're a chemical businessman, you shut it down and you come here. Some people succeed, but the problem is the number of people who succeed could also be succeeding because his brother is a broker, brother is supporting him, brother-in-law is supporting him, a very good classmate is a friend, he sits with him and he deals. So there is somebody helping, guiding, etc., and therefore there is learning. I am not against trading, right? Trading is far more difficult than the investing that I do. So you have to understand all that before you take this decision. So consider all this, ask your family, find out whether you have put away, say today's equivalent, if your monthly expenses can come from GSEC interest without worrying about the valuation of GSEC, right? So you have got X amount of GSEC, so that's giving you 3 lakhs per month. Why do you need 3 lakhs? If nothing happens in trading, then you need this extra cushion. So your children's education, your wife's retirement, everything is taken care of, then it's different. But if you put whatever you have, you are 48 years of age, you don't like your boss, you enter this. I have seen people making a mess of their life. Now they are selling something and they're finding it very difficult. The market does not respect them. Don't do this. Don't try. Then you try to convert some other hobby. You say, oh, मैं खाना बना के डब्बा भेजूंगा. It's not so simple, right? So don't get into equity trading as a full-time job unless you have done enough research and you're confident that you will be resilient during tough times. Thank you.